Hello, Olga. Happy to see you and happy to be invited to the podcast, because I realized that you must be in my podcast because of, I think, definitely three main reasons. One, because you are bringing the knowledge from the corporate, which is the similarity which we have. We both coming from the finance and the corporate. Second one, you are the female in the business. And the third one, you started the entrepreneurship journey. Yeah, especially, I'm really curious and I would like to tap a little bit more and how that journey started from the professional part, switching to the entrepreneurship journey. So yeah, let's give our audience a little bit pull the curtain and say how you did it and what was the main driver. So happy to have you in my series. Welcome. Yeah, and let's start.
Hello, Cornelia. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy that you invited me. What's about my journey? First, as you said, I spent lots of time in corporations, over 10 years, and all this time in finance. That was classical FP&A, financial planning and analysis. And I spent this time mostly in retail and FMCG companies. And, I really enjoyed this work, because eventually what financial planning and analysis does, or business partner does, is helping the counterparts, no matter if it's marketing, commercial operations, sales, whoever, helps in making these operational or strategic decisions. But at some point in time, I've realized that I'm not adding enough value. I practically do not have time to do my job, even though I work overtime. And actually, I see that I'm not alone. The recent statistics says that only 22% of time FP&A professionals spend doing some value-added activities. All the rest we spend manipulating data, preparing some reports, downloading something, sending something. And very little time we spend really helping making these decisions. So I eventually left, but not to abandon this corporate world with their problems, but to actually help them. And I was very lucky to join a big data company, big data startup, who helped corporations with their digital transformation. Exactly helping these companies automate all those activities which were taking my time.
Sorry to interrupting you. So basically, this is what you already tried to say to the people. So this was your pivotal moment in your career when you tried to discovering something new in your corporate career, isn't it? When you step out from that job, yeah?
Yeah, you can call it pivotal in a sense, because that was a decision to kind of leave corporate world. If it was the only change or the only turnaround, probably not, because there was another one coming really soon after that. So I spent 2 years in this startup, and I realized even though we really help companies get hold of their data, we're really bringing this data closer to them, they're still not using it in their decision making. And I've realized that this battlefield is actually on the other side, helping companies change their culture and their mindset. And that's when I started my own business in the area of training and coaching. So that's kind of second pivotal moment, or second realization that where I should go or where I should apply my skills.
Yeah, let's talk about what you mentioned in the finance world. It's more about data crunching instead of data analyzing. I know, because what you are doing as a trainer and as a coach, you try to show people and train people how to, through the data, present the real story, because everything is having a story behind it. Even numbers, they are having a story. So how would you like to say to our audience, if they want to learn how to look from that angle as well, through the story perspective? Because I'm really curious, how would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, that's very, very good question for the start of the conversation, because actually it touches my main claim I make in descriptions of my workshop. I really promise people to teach them how to shift from just showing this data to real visual storytelling, to really tell stories of the data. And technically, the shortest answer to this question takes 2 hours, because that's the shortest format of the workshop I give. And full, complete answer to this question, how, actually takes full day. Nevertheless, I think what's worth mentioning here at this moment is, why do we need this shift at all, like in general? Because it's not obvious, right? Why can't we actually show data as it is? Why do we need to create some stories around it? And the answer to this question is hidden in our evolution. If you think of that, people are not very good in understanding or memorizing numbers. That's a skill we actually gain through life. But there are much more stronger skills we have from birth, we have through our evolution. And it's good to use them when we present something, when we explain something. And these good skills are recognizing shapes, recognizing colors, and tell stories. Why that happen? Well, because you need to recognize the shape of predator to know when to run away. Or you need to recognize the color of mushrooms, to distinguish them harmless and poisonous. And you need to be able to tell stories, because it's actually a way how we exchange information. We tell a story that one of our tribe members went somewhere and didn't come back. So that's very scary. We shouldn't be going there. And we learn it through the story. Or he went somewhere and brought fruits and nuts. So that's where we should be going. And that's how we learn to tell stories from the world. So using what we are good at, shapes, colors, stories, really helps us to convey information much more efficiently eventually.
Do you have
why
from
storytelling today?
Oh, yeah. What about your story, experience, which you can brought like an eye-opening when you presented that numbers through this element which you just mentioned? It was like an eye-opening for the people which you presented, because I know you personally, so you have been doing that for them, VPs, CFOs, and decision maker people in the corporate and also in the business. So can you give like an example which it was the pivotal moment from them, the way how you presented and you interpreted it, just bringing that story? Do you have something which you can share?
Well, I think that when it works well, a good comparison would be when you watch a good movie and there is a music in the movie. When music ideally fits the scene, people don't really focus on the music, but it helps them to understand the scene, perceive it, feel it. The same is with data visualization. When I show the data through the story, I do it to enable people make decisions. So the best reaction I could expect is not saying, oh, what a wonderful chart you have. The best reaction I could expect is active discussion supported by data, which eventually leads to the data-driven decision-making. And that I experienced many, many times. And what brings me much more joy is not when I present it this way, but people I train present it this way. And they come back to me and say, oh, last meeting we had this data exactly as you described. And now it went completely differently. So that's a moment of joy when I hear that.
Okay, yeah, I understand. This is really fascinating what you are sharing. Just putting a little bit spin into the analyzing the financial part as well. Yeah. I know that you are also data skill trainer. So, what would you like to say about that aspect? Because we know when we're having a discussion, you always tell me, yeah, Cornelia, this is all about the skills and how that help you, through the journey in the corporate. This is something which you learn, this is something which you seek, or how did you discover that part? Because I know you are bringing the unique value to the market right now, because you realized that when we discussed together, it came to the conclusion that this is very needed part in the market niche as well, to look through the data analysis through the story as well. So what about that skills part, and how that corresponded to your skills journey which you had in the corporate actually, and how did you gain it?
Oh yeah, about my skills journey. Well, the main thing I've learned in corporation that I don't have enough skill. When I grew up to some reasonably senior level in finance, I found myself presenting data to the whole company, and you yourself have finance background, so you know how boring it can be, like quarterly reviews.
Yes.
And I remember standing in front of big audience, showing very boring charts and tables, and saying quite boring things next to it, and audience practically almost literally falling asleep. But at some point of time, I've joined the public speaking club. So a group of people, actually international community, who focused on preparing speeches, telling stories. And that was a moment I right away understood that how I was speaking inside my corporation, inside my company, was not the right way. So very soon I started saying something exciting, interact with audience, really asking them questions, actually telling stories. But at the same time, I was showing the same boring set of charts and tables. And I remember another realization that actually there is a huge mismatch between what I'm showing and what I'm saying. And that's when I started learning about visual storytelling. And that's a lot through self-education. It's not that you can learn it overnight, but it's not something like super difficult and unachievable. Lots of books, lots of good workshops, articles, and eventually I got to this area of storytelling with data. And thanks to some practice of storytelling I have from this public speaking club, I actually feel it very natural now to blend, to merge those two areas, business data and storytelling.
Yeah, so basically we can conclude that to make it more attractive, it's basically the gaining the skills of storytelling in the finance, because I fully agree with you. Whenever I was doing the presentation or the budget or a project or investment whatsoever, it was always like, okay, what is the next? What is the next? And yeah, you are absolutely right. Once you gain that skills, and especially public speaking is giving you extremely big confidence to talk in front of the audience, yeah, and make them feel comfortable, like you said, because numbers, they are not so easy to memorize it, but once you start presenting them in a direction, then people start remembering that. Okay, what about then, because currently I see one common path. You gain the expertise in your area, in finance, in corporate, and you decided to go with that expertise outside to bring it to the market, yeah? And how that decision came to you? It was like, there was a life situation which pushed you there, or it was this desire, or what was it actually which put you in a different path right now, where you are very successful, you know?
Well, what pushed me? I think the first, when I was still in corporations, I certainly did not have this courage to leave it and start something of my own. I'm not that risky person, and I thought that, okay, my own business, it will never work out. But when I joined this startup, there is a completely different mindset, completely different culture, small group of people. They are brave. They already started something new, and it wasn't their first company. And then obviously, like just watching them work, if they don't know something, they just go and find it out. We don't have this mindset in corporations. So it gave me this courage. And at the same time, it pointed me to the area I find a main battlefield now, this gap between technology and mindset of people and corporations. Technology is so far ahead of the way how we make decisions, of our decision-making mindset. So I thought that I might be the one who helps to narrow this gap, not fully close, but at least narrow that with this skill of data storytelling, but with some other skills I teach as well.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. This is what I discover also fascinating, especially when I start working with entrepreneurship with women and men. And like you said, corporate is having strong skills in terms of process oriented and data driven part. But what is majority for the people is lacking is this self-development part, this courage, this drive of change. No, it's really fascinating. What about then the next step when you realize, because okay, having this positive impact from society, which you just mentioned, be surrounded with the open-minded people who are embracing this move in you, how that one was the next step for you? Okay, once you get there, you start having this desire, let's put it in that way, or this hungriness to put. What was then the next step for you as a woman stepping into the business? Was it something which help you as well? Because what was the next, the plan, the idea, or what was it the next?
Actually, the way I got into the business was kind of natural and not entirely planned. Because as part of this public speaking community, I started delivering workshops in general, trainings in general, into areas of providing feedback, in the areas of storytelling, classical storytelling, not involving data, and some others. And eventually I created this workshop about storytelling with business data, as many people inside this community were actually coming from business. And I felt that had really big success. Actually, people started inviting me to their companies or to their corporate clubs, and they asked me to repeat this workshop for different group. And after I repeated like many times, I thought, okay, if people really want it, maybe general public would want it as well. And I tried just while still working full time, I just tried one event, and I started selling tickets to that. I rented to some place and I got full place, and I was thinking, okay, maybe people want that. And among those participants, they were representatives of the biggest bank in Czech Republic. So they eventually invited me to be a regular coach there in their bank. And there were some other group of people who invited me to participate in the conference. And then I went to the conference, I got invited to some other companies, and at some point, I found myself having at least small business without any marketing effort so far. And what I almost forgot to say, that obviously one of the biggest changes that actually helped me to make this decision to leave full-time job completely was having a baby. So I thought, okay, since I will have limited time, full-time job is not an option anymore, but I can keep this my hobby project, which eventually grown to a business which occupies significant part of my time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is, really, really great. And another question which is coming to my mind, because this is what majority of people are struggle. Am I ready? Am I ready to go? In your case, well, I think I know the answer, but I just want to hear it from your side. You were 100% ready or not so much? What is basically the hidden formula which give you the courage to go, because I just want to hear from your perspective, because like you mentioned, you just put a little project, MVP, let's say minimal product value, which you had it. So you were 100% ready to go, or it was like not so much, but nevertheless you hit it, you decided to go? How was it in your case?
In my case, it was very easy decision. It didn't require any courage because basically I had only two options. I can be either full-time mom and spend my free time watching Netflix or whatever. Or I can at least try to work a part of the time and see where it goes. So it was easy. I was not really choosing between full-time job that gives me stable income and this sort of my own project, my own coaching business. I was choosing between basically doing nothing or doing this. So it's easy. It's certainly worth trying, and then it actually worked out.
Okay. No, this is great. What about supporting sources? How was it in your case? Did you have family, friends who were supporting you in your idea? How does it work in your case when you start doing that? Did you have supporting people doing that, or mentor who might guide you in that case? Or because I would like to give our audience also the inspiration as well to try it, and who knows, maybe the skills which they have, they will open completely different environment for them. Yeah.
The general advice you usually hear, if you want to start your own business, start doing it in parallel with your normal job, and eventually you can phase your job out. Let's say stop working Fridays, take every Friday off, then you cut off Thursdays, and eventually you get there. In my case, it was at one moment, it was clear cut. And exactly because of what you mentioned, I have really support from my partner watching and babysitting for me whenever I need, whenever I have workshop with client or call to discuss conditions or discuss future work. I do some consulting as well. It's not only workshops. So I have absolutely babysitting. Actually, pandemic situation was a help as well, since everything happens from home. My partner is close to babysit, not for the full day, but just for several hours. I don't have to travel, so it doesn't take time. And in terms of mentoring or this kind of support, that's crucial, because obviously when you start your business, you cannot really do it in vacuum, right? You cannot do it in empty space. You need constant feedback. You need constant reassurance that it's worth doing. And I was lucky as well being part of this Toastmasters, this public speaking community, because actually many trainers, many coaches grow out of this community, and I'm in constant touch with few of them to really talk through how we are doing. We have different businesses, different scales. Some of them are B2C, I'm B2B, but still we kind of always talk and discuss how to keep audience engaged, how to organize it, how to attract new clients. And this exchanging experience obviously helps. Kind of always check I'm on the right way.
Yeah. This is also what you just pointed out is absolutely crucial, because people who want to start the business, they might have a great idea, but they will never test it with the ideal client, This is basically the common thread which the one who are thinking to start, they should watch out. And you are absolutely right. It should be the right society or community which might give you support and constant feedback and constant checks for the products. This is cool. What about, because you mentioned COVID, because majority of people, and this is also related to the mindset thing, how you see the world. Is it like an opportunity for you, or is it like a threat? This is very common for the entrepreneurs. They rather see opportunity than like an obstacle. And in your case, the whole COVID situation, this digitalization, everything which is running virtual, how would you like to reflect on that and mention to the people it help or not so much, to boost the business? And what will be your reflection in that sense,
And I'm pretty sure that seeing this as opportunity or seeing it as just a problem, it's not only because of our mentality, but because nature of the businesses is very different. So for some of us, it's not a problem at all, or indeed an opportunity. For some, it's almost end of the world. I think I was actually very lucky in terms of if I had to choose any time in my life where I would put pandemic, that would be exactly year 2020. Like if I could choose, I would not put it anywhere, but if I had to choose one moment, that was exactly right, because I did not have any traveling plans since I was actually giving birth to baby anyways. My most distant traveling was with a stroller to the nearest park, and it was not affected at all. In terms of clients, I felt much closer to many clients which were far away. The reason we can have this talk is again because of pandemic, because as we met in the Frankfurt Club, it was just because the Frankfurt Club went online.
Yeah.
Too many clients outside Prague, outside Czech Republic where I live. So for me, it's easier. For me, it's easy to get access. In terms of quality of training between webinars and actual presence, I do enjoy human real contact. Nevertheless, when we put on cameras and when we use to maximum these breakout rooms, all these tools, actually it works quite well. I so got used to that in this 1 year, so I almost don't feel that something is missing. Obviously, in a couple of weeks when we put on real show, I hope that I will feel again this uplift from real physical presence. But nevertheless, now I feel absolutely happy and satisfied with what pandemic brought to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I can add into that, I think it puts completely different perspective in the whole business itself. Yeah, because now it's way easier to reach the clients. Even the meeting which you're attending, in a few days from now, this webinar with CFOs and CEOs is really amazing because you don't have to travel. You just log in from your home, having baby next to your room, and then you don't have to, let's say, waste the time for them traveling between cities and countries. So this is really great.
Well, sometimes it's big enjoyment, right, to visit different cities.
Of course.
So that all has pros and cons. And last conference, this one actually, this CFO forum is actually usually between Prague and Bratislava, which is very close distance for me. But the previous one I attended was in London. So I think that it could be an issue, like really traveling to London. Now for me, it's easy, like, okay, in 5 minutes I'm there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Olga, another question for you. Being as a woman, especially in the business, how does it sound for you? Is it a challenge, and is it rather opportunity? How do you see it? What would you like to share from your perspective so far in the journey which you?
Yeah, from the journey I went through, I think that in terms of finance or corporate, it's absolutely irrelevant, right? Actually, I don't think the gender matters that much, and I felt in all these companies I worked for that opportunities were equal. In terms of the coaching business or training business I'm in now, I actually, if the one is facing more challenge here, that would be men. Like, think of that. When we speak about this pivotal moment where I decided to actually leave full-time job and just play a bit with my new hobby, which turned out to be business, it was so easy for me because no one expects from new mom to maintain her full-time job. And men my age, they never have this luxury. They actually, if they have a small kid, they are expected to work full hours, provide for the family. No one really cares anymore if they still enjoy what they are doing. And these poor guys, if they want to start something new and try whether it works or not, it really cannot.
Yeah.
So I think they are facing more challenges now, and pressure to them is much, much higher than to us. So, and that makes me reflect as well. So I really hope that when our kid grows up a bit, I give this opportunity to my partner because he has some ideas as well, and I really want him to explore them. And I will be the one who has some stable income. So I think that's worth actually to turn it around a bit and think if we can support men then.
Yeah, this is a very interesting approach, because I agree what you are saying. The gender roles, they are changing, and these days the roles which men handle in the past, be like bringing the food to the family and all of this, now it might change. Sometimes lately might change that role and be in a driving seat. And like you said, society might give different pushes and expectations from the gender ones. But you are absolutely right. If the mindset is open, like in your case, like you just mentioned, then it's giving much more space for the changes, and play the role differently. It depends on the life situation which you just mentioned. No, it's I think it's really, really cool.
Exactly. And if you think of that, these poor guys, they don't get this support we get, like from your type of clubs, right? We have this community where we can come to, we can actually complain, we can just really say that we need help, we can ask for help. While for men, it's not so common to ask for help. They will struggle, but they won't, and they not so much like clubs offering support to them. So I think the gender roles have so now switched that much that the pressure to them is much higher, and we are getting all the support.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, Olga, I'm just checking how we can give to our audience where they can find you. Where they can find you as well. Where is for instance, the next webinar where they can learn more about storytelling through the numbers, and also presentation skills, because your service, it's really really big, because you can offer data-driven decision making, how to make it, how to do the storytelling with the data, also how to create great presentation from step by step, and all of that. So where the audience could find you as well, where is the place?
Yeah, sure. It's actually, we kind of focus this on finance a bit, because obviously we both have this finance background, but whatever I provide, whatever trainings I provide, they are basically for every industry, and they are basically for every function. Whoever works with data, and nowadays everyone works with data, really need these skills relate to data storytelling, to dashboard design or storytelling in dashboard. These skills relate to data-driven decision making, which combines critical thinking, some statistic fundamentals, so really data skills which people need to work and interpret data nowadays. I don't make public workshops that often, but whenever I make one, I make it very loud on LinkedIn. So I think the best way would be to connect to me on LinkedIn. My name is Olga Rudakova, so that you can find me. I will be very happy. I have quite broad network there, and I try to share very regularly some educational materials or some relevant articles. And obviously I will be happy if you visit my web, that's olgarudakova.com. So you can come anytime and you contact me through that one. I'll answer very, very quickly.
Yeah, okay, this is awesome. So Olga, thank you very much, and looking forward about your next project. As a last question, what is still in your pipeline, which you are thinking and planning to do? So what is the next project which you're having in mind, which we can keep the finger crossed for your next project?
The main area I'm moving to is actually this storytelling in dashboards, how to tell dynamic stories, like stories of dynamic data, when data changes faster than we actually tell stories, but that's possible. And again, there is science behind it. And so I'm getting in the area of dashboards as in coaching, providing workshops, as well as in consulting, because more and more companies are moving to BI tools such as Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, and they need this new skill, how to design it. So I'm planning quite a big consulting project with one of major retailers here, and I'm launching this new workshop. So that will be my main focus during summer and fall this year.
Okay, so we can promise to keep the finger crossed and keep us posted about the progress. So looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you very much for being and giving us the insight from your part and your expertise, which you are bringing to the market, and make it the service really better. Thank you very much, Olga.
Thank you for having me here. Good day, everyone.